And then Noel, yeah. So EP, yeah. My husband is actually doing the videoing now. So thank you very much, Noel.
Hi, Noel.
This morning. And yesterday we were doing trial runs and I had to call Gaita and ask her tech guy to teach me how they did it in cooking because they were able to do it with a 2-computer setup, but there was no reverb. So last night they were teaching us how to sit with Gladys this morning also. So thank you, Noel. Thank you for your patience.
I sent a Viber today, so for others who want to.
My sister said she was going to be here, but Ria is funny. She's also in the book club. She said if she doesn't attend, I will just send her candles because she stays in Bacolod. So I have to make her candles, my funny sister. Gladys, I'm ready to start whenever you are. You just tell me when.
All right.
I'm just going to put this
Maybe
down.
start na.
Okay, sige. So, hi everyone. Good morning. Once again, thank you for your time to attend the crafts club and get crafty later on. So, let's begin as we do in Assumption. We always start with a prayer. So, I pass the floor to Tita Nena to grace this day with a prayer. Tita Nena.
Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Father, we come before you to thank you for all the generous blessings you have bestowed upon us. Your omnipresence has served as a beacon light in our dark days. Once more, we come to pray for this event. May your divine spirit come down on us and give us the wisdom and knowledge to get all the vital information from this event. May we learn from our tutors and instructors who will share their expertise with us. May they transfer their knowledge efficiently and effectively. Grant that whatever we would learn today, we would use it to benefit not only ourselves and our families, but the whole community as well. When we leave this venue, may we embark on a meaningful journey of spreading your word through our knowledge. All this we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. Today, we are also celebrating the 183rd anniversary of the Foundation of Assumption by Saint Marie Eugenie.
Wow.
May she always guide us in all that we do. Saint Marie Eugenie, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Tita Nena. So I will no longer delay this, and I'm sure you are all excited to learn so much from Anna. And as you all, and I don't think we need I need to introduce Anna because you all know her as someone who's so energetic and vibrant, also part of the AAA board. So she'll teach us how to make candles, and she'll make it so easy for us that you'll realize, oh wow, it's so easy pala to do candles. So without further ado, let's give a round of applause to Ana Singson. Yay!
Yay! Hello. If you could please spotlight the EP Singson phone.
Okay. There you go. Spotlight for everyone.
Okay, so first, hello everybody. I'm Ana de Villa Singson. You all know I'm from batch 83. First of all, is the audio okay? Is the audio good? You can hear
it's good.
From batch 83. I was actually a corporate woman. I headed sales and marketing of several multinationals for around 20 years. And then I decided to retire in 2004. And when I retired, that's when all my crafty things started. I was very lucky because I met a Dutch liberal arts professor who was on vacation here in Manila. And I don't remember anymore how our paths crossed, but they did, luckily. And he's the one who taught me many of the things I know in crafts. He taught me candle making, acrylic painting, glass painting. He taught me how to make my own molds. Like, for example, if I see something that I like, a shape, if I see, for example, a pump, because I had a French bulldog statue, I can make a mold of that using resin, clay, plaster of Paris, and make it in the candle. So I was very lucky to meet that guy. He started me on my candle making path in 2004. I was very lucky in 2004. At the time, my candles were called Lumos because Harry Potter was just on, and it was called Lumos. And I even got to sell some of my candles in some stores in Shangri-La. I took it up again recently because, well, my husband Noel who's filming this, and also Gabby, who my son, are voracious candle users. It was so expensive. I said, wait, I'm just going to make the candles, and I even taught my son Gabby to make his own. So now that he knows how to make his own, he's self-sufficient in terms of his candle making supply. Now, if my son, my 21-year-old son, whose capacity for crafting is very limited, can make a candle, I'm sure you can too. Now, before actually doing a demo on the candles, what I wanted to do, before I actually start the demo on the candles, what I want to do is to show you what the different kinds of waxes are. Now, I'm telling you just the main kinds of waxes so that later on, once you know the method, you can actually choose what wax you like. First of all, one of the oldest waxes is called beeswax, okay? Beeswax is perfect. It's made from the top of the beehives. They hydrolyze it. It's all natural, although it's not vegan because it's from the bee. It's actually perfect. It has a nice honey scent. You can shape it. It's soft enough not to crack, but you can make it firm also without making it brittle. So it's perfect. The problem with beeswax is it's expensive. So one kilo of beeswax will probably cost us around 600 to 800 pesos for just 1 kilo of beeswax. So the wax alone, if you make two glasses of candles this big, will cost you already like 800 to 1,000 pesos. So it's expensive, but it's very good. Paraffin, actually, if you look at this, you see it's so hard. You can hear that? You know it's paraffin because it's very, very hard. Paraffin would have been the ideal kind of wax. In fact, a lot of people use paraffin. It's cheap. It takes to molds very well. It's firm, so it can stand on its own. It takes fragrances and colors beautifully. No hassles at all. You don't need to compensate for anything in candle making when you're using paraffin because it's a perfect medium, except it's made from the petrochemical industry. So it is the byproduct of charcoal. It is a byproduct of lube oil. So you can imagine that when you light a paraffin candle, you are actually setting out a lot of petrochemicals which are not good for the environment and which can actually give you asthma and issues also. So had it not been for that, paraffin would have been perfect. But a lot of people still use paraffin. So if you're not so worried about the environment, which I hope you are, then paraffin is the way to go if you want to do it that way. Now, a very good medium is soy. This is soy. Everything here, can you see? Everything here, all these candles, all this, all the candles I have here that I actually light in my house, they're all soy. Now, soy is a baby wax. It was invented in 1996, okay? And it's beautiful because it comes from the soybean. So it's vegan. On top of being vegan, the soy wax is soot-free. It's very clean. It's a slow burn, so it's economical. If you put a paraffin wax and a soy wax and keep them lighted at the same time, candle at the same time, you will find that the soy wax lasts longer. It's what you call a slow burn. Also, it's all natural. If you get pure soy wax, it's all natural, and it doesn't do anything harmful to the environment. Also, when you light it up and you put it under a shelf, it's soot-free. So you're not going to see these black marks on the rim of your shelf or on your walls. So paraffin is soy is perfect, except the molecules of soy are very big. They're the biggest of all the waxes. So it takes a long time for the fragrance to wrap around the soy candle, which is why when you make a soy candle, like this one was made 4 days ago, I won't be able to light this because I'm curing it. I have to cure it. Curing time is the time between when you make it and when you light it the first time. This has to be cured for at least 10 to 14 days. Why? Because we're waiting for the fragrance to wrap around the soy molecules, which, as I said, are long. So it takes long. It takes long. But well, you just put a little patience. Candle making is a little about patience. Also, when it comes to dyes, you have to put a little more dye than normal because soy doesn't naturally adapt to dyes the way paraffin does. But then these are things you can compensate for. And again, it's very good for the environment. There are new waxes nowadays that you can also use that are completely vegan, that are completely sustainable, and which are very good for the environment. Those waxes are palm, and those waxes are coconut. Coconut for me is really the best. The color is a beautiful creamy white. It's sustainable. And again, it does not harm the environment at all. But coconut is a bit expensive. Coconut, like beeswax, will cost you around 600 per kilo just for the wax. So I think that's why when I make candles for myself, because we use quite a lot here at home, like Gabby will probably use 2 candles in a week, 2 of these in a week. And Noel also will probably use 1 in a week. I run through candles very fast. So I use soy. It's what I call the medium, middle of the road kind of wax, because it's not too expensive, but it doesn't hurt the environment. It's all natural. And the good thing is that even if there are difficulties with perfume and dye, if you're properly taught, you can compensate for them. Now, what are we going to learn today? So that's the end of the lecture. So what are we going to learn today? First, we're going to learn how to make soy candles like this one. Okay, this is a soy candle. They're container candles. Why? Because obviously you put them in a container, okay? And you keep them there. You don't take them out. They're not like molded candles, which you remove. So we're going to learn how to make this. We're going to make it in a glass jar. We're also going to make it in a ceramic. And I will show you also how samples of candles made in tin cans. So you can see the different kinds of containers that we can use. We're going to make a plain colored candle. This is the natural color of soy. Can that be seen? You see there's a hole there, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. I put a hole in the candle this morning so I can show you how to fix it. That's a natural color of soy. It's like a creamy vanilla. It's an off-white. It's really very pretty. So you don't really need to color it anymore. We will teach you how to fragrance. This is the first project that we're going to do. The second project will be this. Can you see these candles over here? Noah, can you just zoom in on the candles, please?
Yes.
Yep, can
Okay.
see.
Yes, there. Can you see now? Okay, you are going to be making these candles. We will teach you how to color them. These 2 are marbled. Can you see they have marbling?
Yes.
Yeah.
And these also, they're marbling. But that's not today. That's candle 102. If you want to have a candle 102, we can do that. But for now, we will focus on the ones down here, because the ones down here, they're very pretty. Take a look. You have it in peppermint blue, periwinkle pink, a sage green. And this was actually an experiment. I mixed orange and yellow. It came out pretty well. So we're going to focus on how to color to make 1 candle color. And then the third project will be this. Can we show them the wax melt? These are wax melts. Okay, I want to teach you this because you can make this at home in 30 minutes. They're perfect gifts. And not only that, this is a mold. So this is your introduction to using a mold. Because when you take it out, it's like ice. You take it out, they will be formed into ice cubes. All right, now, my intention for teaching you how to make this is to teach you how to make 2 layers of color in 1 candle. Can you see that? It's brown and white.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks yummy.
Will that be part of today?
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely. Yeah, now, the fragrance of this one is called Cafe Vanille. That was actually invented by my son. Since he likes drinking coffee a lot, he said he'd make a coffee flavor, but he didn't want a plain one. He combined coffee and vanilla. That's why you have the brown layer and the white layer over there. Now, what you can do in this small candle, in this small wax melt, you can also do in the big one. But if I show you in the big one, we're not going to end today because it will take long to dry. So we're going to learn how to do wax melts also. Do you all know what wax melts are?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So wax melts are actually the latest craze in the US and in Europe right now. Some people are scared to leave candles burning at night. Okay, so like, I know some people in the board, some friends of mine in the board, they were asking me like, how can I keep a candle burning when I'm sleeping, but I want the smell there. Wax melts are the perfect answer. So they actually sell candle lamps nowadays. You can get it in Shopee, you can get it in Lazada. And then you just light up the lamp, put these wax melts in a little bowl under the lamp. So it's like having the fragrance of the candle without the light. So that's what the wax melt is. The wax melts and the fragrance comes out. It's a beautiful fragrance diffuser for your house, and you can keep it on at night because there's no flame. So that's what wax melts are. So are you ready? Let's do our demo now.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Yes, but before that, we have to promote our other clubs. So Gladys will show you.
She promoted her velada 25th anniv na.
Wait,
Ano, you have to tell them about your cake, Gladys.
Done. She
Done
did
na
it
ba?
so well.
Done? Okay.
Yeah, she did it so
Done na.
well. Congrats, Gladys. There's no sound talaga.
Oh, why is there no sound kaya?
Baka not, you did not share sound.
There's no sound.
Share sound, Glads.
Wait. Let me try.
So we can hear Anna's very soothing voice.
Hang on. No. Okay. There. Can you hear it na?
No pa rin.
None
No.
yet.
Wala.
But I did the voiceover, so I know what
There.
I'm saying. Okay. So we have, anyway, you know that na, di ba? Can you on it, Miss Indians?
Balu Montano
There.
Forest, J. Gamboa,
Your
Sandy
sound,
Daza,
Okay.
Sal del Rosario,
Perfect.
Bali Trinidad. Brought to you by the AAA Batch Representatives Committee, Anna, Chin, Cynthia, Gladys, Gina, Marnie, Nena, and Tab. Just a tiny little request. There are no club joining fees, but love offerings are very, very much appreciated for the AAA, which helps ACE mission schools. So, let's go clubbing. See you.
There you go.
So can we highlight what the Noel Singson phone now, Gladys?
Sure. Will do. Hang on. Well, there you go. Ta-da-da. Spotlight. There.
Okay, there. We're good. We are
Yeah.
now in my kitchen because this is where I do my candle making, which is much better than when I started. Because when I started, can you believe I started making candles in my bathroom? I don't know why, but I just made back in 2004. My first candles were crafted in the bathroom. Now, very quickly, I forgot another kind of wax that I think not many people know about, but it's really exciting. Can you see these? Can you see these?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Who have been to Strums? Have any of you been to Strums before? Okay, they used to sell Jello shots. These are not Jello shots. They're actually gel candles. Okay, so they're very, very pretty. Look at this. It's where is my photographer for the? Okay, I'll go near the lamp. There. You see?
Oh yeah.
Noel, can you see? Okay,
Parang it melts.
so you see? And these
Yes.
are all gel candles here. I'm gonna light them so you see how pretty they are. And I have to make yabang. Look at my USB powered lighter. It does not need any butane. So let me use this to light it up.
Wow.
See how pretty these gel candles are. Okay, we'll just light 3, you see? Okay. So it actually it's transparent. Can you see?
Yes.
So these are gel candles, but this is actually candle making 102 or maybe even 103 because
Wow.
gel candles are very volatile. If you don't do them correctly, they can explode. But, you know, it's very easy to do as long as you're properly guided. I just wanted to show you what the different kinds of gels are. So later on, you can do them also. Now, if you want to do another candle making class, we can do gels. In the meantime, I will give this to Cora. Cora, can you get this back in the dining room? Okay, we're going to start. So the first one we're going to do is a plain container candle. The container candle is the easiest to make. You just have to pour it. And we're using soy, pure soy without any blends. So what do we need? First, we need a container. So what kinds of containers are there? You can see that this is this container. It's very nice with a bamboo cover. And I'm showing you everything that is available in Lazada and Shopee. I'm not showing you anything you cannot buy here. Everything is local, so sustainable because you can buy it. This is ceramic. You have a glass container. This is a glass jar and amber. In case you want to know why do they use amber glass, because amber actually protects fragrance. That's also why many fragrances are in amber jars. And fragrance lasts longer when you put it in an amber jar. Okay, so this is a glass container. And we also have a tin container. This is like a can. Syempre, it's a glamorous can. And it's actually very pretty to use this. In my bathrooms, in my comfort rooms here, it's all candles. So you can use all of those. You can use glass, ceramic, can. I'm just telling you, please be very careful because sometimes glass, PET, which is plastic, already looks like glass. And if you mistakenly put wax in the PET, it will burn and you'll have a little bit of an accident. So please make sure that you're using glass and not PET. Now, let's start. I will show you a tip before we start anything else. Here. For containers, you don't always have to use new ones. Of course, if you are giving it as a gift or if you're even selling it, of course, you use 100% new. But if you are using for your house, you can recycle your jars. Can you see this? No.
Yes.
Okay, there's still excess. Now, what's an easy way to take off the excess in a candle? Very simple. Where's our connecting heat gun? Tapos yung hot water, ready mo lang. Nag-boil ka na ng water. We'll connect this. Very simple. You can use a heat gun. This is very useful when you are making candles and even when you are baking and when you have to seal your products. So you just do this. You heat it. And it will all melt, okay? But if you don't have a heat gun, another way to do it is to just pour boiling water, this is boiling water, into your jar. Leave it there for around 30 seconds. All the wax in it is going to melt. And then when it does, just throw it into another. Don't throw it into your sink because the wax will plug. It will harden and plug. Throw it into another bowl. And then when it hardens back into wax, when it gets cool, you can dispose of it in the wastebasket. So this is a very easy way. So I put hot water and it's already melting the wax inside. In around 2 minutes, this will be completely melted. So that's the way to recycle your containers. Now, the next ingredient we're going to use is soy. This is what soy flakes look like. So can we go closer, please? Soy flakes, that's a natural color of soy. Okay, they sell this in kernels, in flakes. They sell it in blocks, but I suggest you get it in flakes because if it's in blocks, you'll still have to chop it and it takes a bit of a while, all right? So we're going to be using soy and we're going to be using this container. We're going to be using one here. We're going to be using a glass container and also a ceramic container like this. Now, many of you will ask, how do I know how much to use? Now, when you buy a container, when they buy this, they will say it's 300 grams or ml. 1 gram is equal to 1 ml. But actually, you don't use 300 grams for this. This is a surefire way of measuring. I will put water here. First, you need a weighing scale. This is a weighing scale. Put it on. And then we're just going to put water inside until the level I want to use. This is to tell us how much wax we should use. Okay, I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. Okay, this says 214. Oh, it's too low. Let's add a little bit more. Okay, it says 238, so around 240 grams. Okay, now, wax is not as dense as water. That's why all wax will float. You can make all of these into a floating candle. So if it says, if I filled it with 240 grams of water, I'll just take 10% out. So 10% of 240 is 24. So I'm actually going to melt just 90% of 240 grams. That will be, I will be melting 216 grams of wax. Yes, you follow me? We're good?
Yes.
Let me just do this. So we're actually going to measure, that's how you use. So whenever you have a container, fill it with water, measure, then take out 10%, and that's the amount of wax that you're going to be using. So I measured everything already beforehand. Since we're going to be using 2 containers, and that's another tip, please always have your recipe. So I did the computations beforehand. We're going to need 350 grams of soy. So we're going to be measuring that soy right now in my bigger jar here. Now I use this candle pitcher, but you can actually use anything that you can melt with, that you can put in a double boiler. So let's measure 350 grams. Okay, a little excess. Okay, exactly 350 grams. This will be good for 2 containers. Now, we're actually going to use a double boiler. If you look here, Noel, if you could focus on this setup, please. We have a pan with boiling water, okay? And I simply put this container there and let it melt. Okay, so that's our double boiler method. You don't need to buy candle melting double boiler. Just use another pan, half filled with water. Make sure the water is boiling. So we pre-boiled this. And now we're going to wait for this to melt. Now, in ordinary temperatures, that will take around 30 minutes. We're a little colder here because the aircon is on. So while we're waiting for this to melt, there's nothing to do but to wait. We cannot force this to melt faster. So let's fix the other materials. Now, so you need container. We have our 2 containers. You need the wax, which is beginning to melt. And we're going to need wicks. Now, most of you are probably familiar with this kind of wick, yes? This is the wick we know, yes?
The thin ones, yes.
These are actually cotton. Please make sure when you buy wicks that you buy cotton wicks because cotton wicks will be suitless, okay? If you buy nylon wicks, worse, before they used to make nylon wicks and inside they would put paper, that will be horrible. You'll have a black mess all over your walls. So please make sure when you buy cotton wicks and all the suppliers that I asked Sin to post in our Vibrant Thread, they're all curated already. They won't sell you fake wicks, so use cotton wicks. However, we're using a different kind of wicks. We're using these. These are not popsicle sticks. These are wooden wicks, okay? Wooden wicks are so exciting because they burn slower, so it's more economical. Let's lower the temperature a bit. Okay, so it's more economical and there's so much prettier to look at. Also, I like these wicks because the diameter is wide, okay? Now, why is that important? First, you have to put, I will tell you why it's important in a bit. This is a sustainer. You simply put the wooden wick on the sustainer to make it stand, yes? Now, how do you make it stick to the container? Everything is so easy nowadays, they even sell stickers of the right size. So this is a double-sided sticker. You just put it under. You see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you just put it there and then you just peel off the sticker. And voila, you just stick it to your container. Make sure it's centered. So there.
Wow.
It's
Anna,
that
while we're still talking about wicks, so someone asked, how long are the wicks?
How long, what?
How long are the wicks?
These wicks are around, you can buy them in 6 inches and in 4 inches. I got the 6-inch one because after we're just going to trim it. I'm going to show you later. Better to get the longer ones and then just trim it. And don't throw the trimmings because you can still throw the trimmings, use the trimmings later on. So as you can see, I'm just gonna poke it on the side to make sure that it's really stuck well. Okay, first wick is done, you see? So we do the same thing for the second. Again, put it in a sustainer. Make sure it's well clipped. And then you just get a sticker, stick it. And again, all of this can be bought in the suppliers I posted. from Shopee and Lazada. I made it easy. I gave you suppliers in Shopee and Lazada. But if you like to go to the Divisoria, you can go to Goldie's. It has everything. Goldie's candle supplier. Okay, now it's sticky and we're going to put it in the very center. Okay, now why is it important to be centered? Can you see? It's very centered there.
Yes.
If it's not centered, your melt pool will not occupy the entire candle. Now, what is a melt pool? Melt pool is when the wax melts. That's the little pool, the little puddle of wax it creates around the wick. Now, a tip. When you light a candle for the first time, you're not supposed to close it for around an hour because you have to make sure that it reaches its maximum melt pool, the maximum diameter of wax that melts. If you don't do that, wax has a memory. The next time you light it up, it will only melt until that size. For example, you close it after 20 minutes. It did not yet occupy the entire diameter of the wax. It only occupied, let's say, 3/4 of the diameter of the wax in 20 minutes. Wax has a memory. When you light it up again, it will not ever occupy the entire diameter anymore. It will stay in the first, it will stay in the same diameter as the first melt pool. So when you light a candle for the first time, keep it on for around an hour to make sure that it reaches its maximum melt pool. Also make sure it's centered, because if it's not centered, let's say you put the wick here on this side, your melt pool will not reach the edge because it's not centered. Okay, very clear? Next, we next need fragrance. I want to use today, I want to use two fragrances called green tea and lemon green and orange. Okay, now fruit, this is a fruity fragrance. This is a green herbal fragrance. Fruits and herbs both, so you can combine them. Another way to see if they can combine well is you dip. There's a litmus paper for this, but you can just get a folder, cut up a piece of cardboard, dip one cardboard here, dip another cardboard here, put them together in your nose. If it smells good, that will be good. Now, what I do when I'm in a hurry is I just smell them together and they smell good. So we're going to use this too. But actually, I've used a combination before. Now, when you're using soy, please remember that fragrance, it can only take fragrance incorporation of up to 10%. If you put fragrance more than 10% of the weight of your wax, it's just going to dissipate. You're just going to be throwing away money. And these fragrances are not cheap. Like green tea and lemon is around 8 pesos per gram. So if you're going to use 20 grams, that's already 160. So you don't want to throw it uselessly. Remember, maximum is 10%. Okay? So the range for candles, for soy candles, is 6 to 10%. I'll go middle of the road. I'll use 8. Why not 10? Sometimes 10 is too strong and people start reacting. They get runny nose, or they get, they sneeze because the smell is so strong. So I usually do just 8%. Now we did 350 grams of wax, right? So what is 8% of that? 8% of that is 28.9, right? 28.9 grams. I did the computations earlier on. Now I want orange to be the dominant scent. When you decide to use 2 scents, decide which you want to be dominant. In this case, I want orange to be dominant. So 2/3 of the 2/3 of the perfume will be orange, and 1/3 will be green tea and lemon. Okay, so that means I'll have to measure 18.8 grams of orange and 10.1 grams of green tea. So you just multiply like 350 grams of wax, 8%, since I want to put 8% fragrance incorporation, 8% is 28.9 grams. Out of the 28.9 grams, I want 2/3 or 67% to be orange. So I make 28.9 times 0.67, and that's how I computed it. We're all good in math. We're all from assumption, right? So I don't need to go through that in detail. So we're going to start measuring our fragrances while we're waiting for this to melt. So I need 18.8 of orange. Here, 18.8 grams of orange. So I'm measuring All right. And then I need 10.1 of container. I need 10.1 of green tea and lemongrass. And I put a little too much, which is why you need, so you don't waste your fragrance, always have a little funnel so you can put back the excess. Sayang, that's mahal. And then always close your fragrances right after. So we have our two fragrances. All I'll do is I'm going to combine them in one bowl, put them together. And we're going to mix them. Can I have a chopstick, please, for mixing? Chopstick. Now, I know it's silly. You say you don't have to tell me to mix. So many people, they don't mix their fragrance. So it doesn't incorporate well. So you have to mix it for around 2 minutes, which I'm going to ask Cora to do. Cora is my assistant whenever I make candles. And we are now going to check our wax. So what can you focus on the wax? Our wax has to be, all waxes have a flash point. The flash point is it's very important, please remember this. Flash point is a point wherein things will ignite, okay? They can burn, and you might have a bigger flame than you expected in making a candles if you go above the flash point. The flash point of soy is 185 degrees. So we're going to burn this up to 185, not burn. We're gonna boil this until 185. It is now at, actually we're very close. We're now at 180. When it reaches 185, I'm actually going to take this off. And then I'll explain about when you should incorporate your perfume. We are now at, Noel, is it possible to focus on this? I think we froze. Did we freeze? We froze.
Yeah, you froze.
But can you hear me?
Yes.
Gladys, can you go in and take and get Noel again?
Okay. Wait.
Can you bring him in again? Okay, you can't see me, but we're now at 185. So I'm actually taking the wax out of the double boiler. Now, please remember that that's an important thing to remember. 185 degrees. So Gladys, take Noel out and get him again. That's what I did with Gaita the last time when
Okay, wait. How do
so
I
just
do that? How to take out Noel?
now take him, remove him from spotlight and put him back on.
Sige. Sure. Remove spotlight. And then
Put him back on.
spotlight for everyone. Still the same, eh?
So frozen.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that's not good. No. What network are you on?
Wait, now the screen is black.
Oh, Noel. We're okay here. Okay, we're going to transfer phones. Sorry for that. These things happen. But anyway, we're still waiting for I saw a note here from Budget sa Chemix Brass. Kote lang, Pudge. But you know, it's important because what really bugs me is when you're going through YouTube and they tell you to pop the wax in the microwave. That's the craziest thing. You can explode, really, because you cannot, it's so volatile and you cannot, can you go off? You cannot estimate the temperature. So just remember the flash point for soy is 185. So we have reached 185. I already removed the soy. And now we're going to wait for it to cool. Now, why are we going to wait for it to cool? Okay, there we go. We're back.
There.
Yes, we used
see
another number. Okay, now, so this was here a while ago. We reached 185. I removed it. All right. Now, when you incorporate perfume, the flash point, perfume also has a flash point. Okay. Some perfumes which are very high quality will have a flash point of 185. So as soon as you remove it from the soil, you can put it on. But to play safe, because not all the perfume suppliers will indicate what their flash point is, it's best to cool your wax down to between 150 to 160 or 165 before you incorporate the fragrance. All right, so we are now at, I'm using a candy thermometer, but if you don't have a candy thermometer, you can actually buy this thermometer. Can you see? In Lazada and Shopee, it's super cheap. I think this is only around 130 pesos. And it does the job well. In fact, that's what we use now because you don't need to use such expensive stuff. So we'll use it now. So if the perfume does not indicate its flash point, for soy anyway, please incorporate fragrance at 150 to 165 degrees. Okay? No higher because the flash point, you might reach the flash point of the perfume. So we are now at 167.5. So we will just wait for this to cool a little bit, and then we will incorporate the fragrance that we mixed. Now, while we're waiting for that, let me talk a little bit about melt pools. That's important. No? Do I have a sample of a candle that did not use its entire melt pool? Okay, this is what we're going to be using later. This container, because we're going to color so that you can see the color. You can see that the diameter of this bottle is much larger than the diameter of this one. So compare the two. See, this is just much wider. So you can use a wooden wick, but I have found that with a 3-inch diameter, wooden wicks will not completely melt all the way to the edge of the diameter. So your melt pool is not going to be 100%. So today, later, I'm going to teach you how to use 2 wicks, what we call double wicking. We're going to put 2 nylon wicks, cotton wicks together. So when you are deciding on what wick to use, please make sure that you're also considering the diameter of your container so that you can maximize the melt pool. Now let's see what the temperature of this is. Now, there is another, this is, I have all sorts of thermometers. This is a thermal temperature gun. It's a gun. You can take temperature this way. But I suggest, do not use this. This is great for cooking, for checking the temperature of the meat, but I will not suggest this at all for candles because when you put it down, you don't know if it's measuring the temperature of the wax or the temperature of the container, the metal container, which will be much higher. So I only show this so that you know, please don't use this, okay? Instead, use this kind, a candy thermometer, or use the regular thermometer that you can buy, for what I showed you a while ago, for 110 or 165 pesos. Let's see now. Okay, we're there. We're at 165 degrees, so I will remove this. And our fragrance, which, thank you, Cora. Cora was mixing our fragrance. We will incorporate it very gently. Now, you never incorporate anything into a candle high. Why? Because if you do, it's like beer, you're gonna create bottles and bubbles. While you may like bubbles in your wine or in beer, bubbles are the biggest, one of the biggest enemies of candle making. So you pour as low as possible, and you don't pour quickly either. You pour very, 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 very slowly. So you do not create bubbles. And again, you have to mix for around 2 minutes. And when you mix, you don't mix it quickly. You're not baking, wherein you have to incorporate air and make it fast. You're making candles. Candles are slow. Candles are patient. So you have to mix it very slowly for around 1 minute or 2 minutes. Now, what's the mistake if you don't mix it? Some people actually, they don't mix because they think it will just diffuse on its own. It won't. Remember, soy has very big particles. Remember that it's harder to fragrance soy because the fragrance has to wrap around the big molecules of soy. So you help it by mixing. If you don't mix, you will have suspensions of fragrance and pockets of fragrance without fragrance. There will be pockets without fragrance and pockets with fragrance. You don't want that. So You just mix gently. So here, gently, gently, slowly. I swear, this is teaching patience. You have to wait for it to melt. You have to be gentle about it. So mix it very slowly for around 2 minutes so that it's fully diffused and that the fragrance covers all your wax and not just pockets of it. Now, while we're doing that, we're already going to start melting our second project. So I measure the wax already for our second project. We're gonna melt it here. We're gonna cheat. Can you melt it over there for us? Can you melt one there? And I'm gonna melt one right here. Okay. Now the next thing you have to do after mixing is to pour the candle. Now pouring temperature for soy is 135. So do we remember all the temperatures? Those are the 3 temperatures that you have to remember. The flash point of the wax, 4 pala. The flash point of the wax. Who remembers what the flash point of the wax is? It is
185.
180.
Yes, 185 actually, puede. So 185. Okay, if it does not indicate the flash, if the perfumer does not indicate in the bottle the flash point of your perfume, at what point should you incorporate the perfume? What temperatures? Do you remember?
150 to 165.
Perfect. What's that? That's not a Carmela. Is it you, Carmela? Good
It's
job.
Tess.
Okay. And then pouring. When do you pour? Did I tell you that?
135.
135. Now, what happens if you pour lower than 135? You're going to have what you call frosting. Your candle will have like white particles on top that look like Ana. Not nice, not nice. Like this frosts on top. You don't like that. What happens if you pour too hot? If you pour too hot, you can have cracks later on. So it's best to pour just right. Okay, so, oh, another thing. Somebody asked me before, if I wanted to go faster, can I put the wax in the refrigerator so it cools faster? That's absolutely not. That's a recipe for everything wrong. You're going to get frosting, you're going to get cracking, and not only that, the fragrance will not be able to wrap properly around the molecule, so you're not going to have a good fragrance through. Okay, so let's see now our temperature. We are we at 135? It helps because the aircon makes it faster. If you don't make aircon, it's matagal. We are now at, are we ready to pour? I think we might be ready in a bit. Okay, we're at 135. So we will now pour our candles. Again, you do not pour high because you are trying to avoid bubbles. So pour low and pour slow. It rhymes, okay? So pour low and pour slow. Another thing when you're pouring candles, do not ever pour all the way to the rim. Why not? I'll explain in a bit. I usually leave around some space on top. Again, we're doing this slowly because we don't like to get any bubbles. See, perfect, nothing left because we measured a while ago and took out 10% from the weight of water, so perfect. Now, you never pour all the way to the top. Why not? Because if you pour all the way to the top, it's not going to help your candle when you eventually light it later. Let me get a sample here. Okay. When you leave some space between the top of the candle and the rim of the container, you actually generate more heat. Now, how does a candle light up anyway? The fuel of the candle is your wax. And it's a capillary action. When you light up a candle, the wick, the capillary action of the heat from the wick and the surrounding rim of the glass that you leave will actually help the fuel or the wax climb the wick. okay, so that you have a flame that continues burning. So if you leave some space, that will help generate more heat, it will help your wick, and it will help the capillary action that lets the wax go up the wick. So you'll have a more stable flame, and it helps you because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced candles that don't light. That can happen. So you have to test your candles. Either it was filled to the rim or the wick is too long. Just remember that when you have cured your candles, you cut your wick to 1/4 of an inch. 1/4. That's the height for the wick to burn and for your candle to burn well. Sometimes kasi, if the wick is too high, it's going to light, that it will die, it will fizzle off. That's one of the possible reasons. And remember, don't fill all the way to the top. Leave some space so you have heat to help the fuel, which is the wax, go up the wick. Everything clear so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you made your first set of candles. All you have to do is wait. You just wait for this. By tomorrow, this will be ready. Okay, so do not touch it for 24 hours. Do not touch it at all, okay? You just leave it. And then, this is soy. As I told you, curing time is long. Now, what is curing time? Curing time is the time between the time when you make the candle and the first time you light it. You have to allow the fragrance to wrap around all the wax. That takes a while for soy because, as I said, the molecules are large. So you have to wait at least 7 days. The best is if you can wait 10 to 14 days. Like me, I just made another batch of candles. I showed you a while ago. We're waiting 14 days before we light it up. Now, why is it important? It affects the throw of your candle. And I'm talking away here because we're waiting for our second batch of wax to melt, okay? There is what you call throw, hot throw and cold throw. What is cold throw? This is a candle, you can see. This is, I think, coffee vanilla. Okay, there, the candle. You smell it. If it smells good and you say, oh my gosh, I smell like in Starbucks, that means it's a good cold throw. While it's cold, the scent throws out well. To the extent that you say, oh, it's so yummy, so sarap. That's what you want with your candles. If you pour at the right temperature, if you incorporate the fragrance at the right temperature, if you allow it to cure for at least 10 to 14 days, you should get a good cold throw. Now, what is hot throw? Hot throw is when you light your candle like this, and you leave it for a while, and the scent gets thrown all over the room. Now, this little candle here, my study is adjacent to my room. The study is smaller than the room. The study is around what? Around 20 square meters. This candle is good. But when I leave the connecting door between the study and my room, this little candle can throw as far as my room. My room beside it is larger, but this little candle, because it has a very good hot throw, can be smelled all over, not just my study, but in the room. And when I walk out into the family hall, you can smell the coffee there too. It's like I have my own Starbucks. So that's what you call a hot throw. Now, how do you get a good cold throw and a good hot throw? By following the instructions that I told you. Pour at the right temperature, incorporate the fragrance at the right temperature, and of course, you have to incorporate at a good enough percentage. Some people, they make it big, they try to incorporate like 4% fragrance. You're not going to get a good throw. So I say between 6 to 10% per soy is the best. So I'm going to keep this here because I want to smell like Starbucks. So we are doing our second project. The second project is we're actually going to start coloring. Are you melting? Huh? Hindi pa siya tunaw. I think we have to make the temperature higher. Okay, so we are going to use colorant. Now there are two types of colorant. This is the first one. These are soy colorants. They are soy flakes. First, I'm going to use gloves so that I don't stain my hands. Plastic gloves. So soy flakes, I like using them. This is what I recommend actually for soy. It's also made out of soy wax. Okay, they're dyes made out of soy, so you're not putting anything impure in your candle. everything is soy, soy tolerant, soy wax, right? So I like using soy wax. Now, how do you use soy wax? What is this? We're going to be using lavender for this one. So let's make a lilac one. So I'm going to use some lilac. Just a second while I put on my gloves. I made a mistake of not using gloves before. And I had purple fingers. Banana. I'm going to use some fingers. Can you take the temperature of that one? Here. Pakipalan yung temperature. Now this is a soy. Well, when you go near. This is what a soy flake looks like. Soy dye colorant. This is a violet. Since the next flavor will have a lavender, you can go a little near. We're going to use, I'd like to use a little of this. Now, how do you use this? You grate it. Okay, you grate it. It's like grating cheese. So I have a container here. And this is a small bin. Now, how can you, you cannot see that I'm grating. So I'm going to grate. I'm using a micropane, but you can use any grater. I'm going to grate this. And you can see okay, you can see little chips coming out. There. I grated the soy chips. And as I said, I like using soy dye because I'm using soy on soy. So my soy stays pure. All right. Now, there are other colorants like this one. I'm showing you because please avoid that. It's all over Shopee. It's all over Lazada. Oh, where did it go? Anyway, it will say liquid colorant. It will say pigment. If it says pigment, please don't use. What's the difference between a dye? This is a dye, soy dye. This will melt and become like a liquid. It's fluid, okay? Pigments will stay suspended. They will be suspended particles of color that don't really mix. They will color beautifully. Your candles will look nice, but your wick, it will not help your wick when your wick is trying to burn. So your candle won't burn well because it stays suspended. It doesn't really melt into the wax, it stays suspended. So it's color suspension versus color fluid. So if it's pigment, you can use it to decorate, and if you want, I can teach you. I use it for marbling, but I don't use it for coloring the entire candle. So suggest lang if you want to buy dye, please, since you're using your soy, use soy dyes also. Now for our second project, we're going to be using this, and we're going to be using 2 wicks because it is wide. Because this is a bit wide. This is 3 inches. So again, same thing. We're going to put stickers under. You can buy this already with sustainers. These are the sustainers under. Please remember to buy the cotton wicks. Do not buy nylon wicks. If it's super cheap, probably nylon. Worse, do not buy the ones with paper inside because you can cause an accident. So again, we're going to put stickers under. So here, just a sticker here. Okay, and then this is our glass. You want to make sure that it's centered and that it is actually aligned because you're putting 2. Now, once that's done, you make sure to press down so it's secure. You paste it down and it doesn't get out. Cora, papilagyan mo na ito ng sticker. Cora, yeah, can you put sticker on this one? Okay, so You have to keep this straight. Now, how do you keep it straight? There's such a thing as a wire, a wick holder. This is a wick holder. All right, you can put it this way. Hold the wick so it's straight and then bend it down. If it's not properly glued down, so let me tab it down more. So here we have the wick holder. Hold this down. Now, if you don't have a wick holder, which many of us don't have, you can just use chopsticks. Just make sure this glue is not very good. So you can use chopsticks that you put a rubber band, get 2 chopsticks, put rubber band on the edges, and then that's what we use. Just 2 chopsticks with rubber band and squeeze it in between. But since we have wick holders, we're just going to use those for now. Cora, what's the temperature of your 185? Okay, so we melted some wax a while ago. It's already at 185. So okay, so we are just holding the wicks with the wick holders. But as I said, if you do not have wick holders, you hold the wick through 2 chopsticks. Just put 2 chopsticks together and rubber band. That will work just as well, and it will work just as beautifully. Okay. Now, while we are waiting, we are going to start coloring the dye. Now, this is at out. This is at 185. Can you see this? This is at 185, and we're going to start incorporating some color. Let me just put some space here so I can actually put some color here. You won't see it. Okay. So a little goes a long way. So we're just going to put some dye there. Remember, I shaved that a while ago, and then I'm going to mix it. Again, you mix very, 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 very gently. Are you seeing it's already incorporating some color? Can you see that? Now, dye should be incorporated when it's really hot. You can even put it while the while the wax is still melting. But this is at 185, and I immediately put the dye at 185. Why? That allows the soy dye to melt properly. It gives it time to melt. Are we happy with that color? Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Nice.
Okay, so let's add a little bit more. Now, some people say, can I use crayons to color? Absolutely not. Crayons are wax, and crayons are also resin. And remember, I told you it's made of pigment, so you don't like using that because crayons, aside from being wax, have a whole other lot of additives in them. So if you use it to color, you might create an accident because there might be something there that's not compatible with fire. There might be something combustible. So absolutely do not use crayons. Besides, when you try to use crayons, what will happen is it will stay suspended. It's not going to stay mixed. Now you can see this color is very, very sad. Now please note that colors are darker and then they lighten up considerably, but it's very, very sad. So I'm actually going to add other colors to it. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to make it prettier, and maybe a little bit of red, because red and blue. Yeah, I didn't wear gloves now, okay? And I'm going to shave it directly into the. It's a little bit of blue, and I'm going to use a little bit of pink. I'm going to shave it directly into the. And then we're going to mix. Now, if you want to see what it is going to look like, you can actually drop some in a little piece of wax paper, which we have right here in the drawer under. Get a piece of wax paper, and you can actually drop a few drops in the wax paper so you can see what the color is going to look like. And remember, please mix slowly. Don't mix quickly, mix slowly while you're making it. This is still very light based on that. So let's add a little more blue. And I really like to add a little more pink to make it more cheerful. A lot more pink to make it more cheerful. What's your temperature? Huh? 100, 103. 153, okay. Okay, do you see now the color? It's turning into, I know it's very hard to see. Another way also is to put some water. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some water here. Excuse me. Put some water in a tin and then drop a little bit of the colored wax so you can see what color it will become. You can't see it, but it's looking like a very, very, it's a very pale blue. Super pale blue. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more of red. I'm sorry, of pink. A little bit more of red. Remember, it looks much darker when the wax is hot, then it lightens a lot more when the wax cools down. So this is our color now.
Parang it got more blue.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Now let's see. When it turns out, it will show.
Ay, ayan. It's darker na.
Oh, what a pretty blue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kanina
it's
it was pale. Now it's
Oh,
a
I
pretty
wish it
blue.
okay, it's pretty blue here. Let's add a little bit more of pink. What's the temperature for that? Huh? 195. Tanggalin mo na, baka mag-twist na yun. Okay, and this should be good. Now we have to add fragrance. Okay, Cora, can you get the temperature, please? Now we have to add fragrance. We wanted to use lavender, right? So I want to incorporate lavender, and I'm actually going to mix two. I'm going to incorporate lavender and eucalyptus, again at 8%. All right, so I need around 13.5 of the lavender and around 5.8 of the eucalyptus. So again, we measure that in containers. Excuse me. We have our containers here. Hello, temperature. 155. Okay, we have to put down already. So lavender, I have lavender here. We need 13.4 of lavender. Okay. And we need 5.8 of eucalyptus. I want to add eucalyptus to this. So we need 5.8. This is a new jar, so we just have to take off the stopper. Ano siya? 156. Okay, perfect. That's the time we're going to add. Okay, perfect. So now we are going to mix the two. Lavender and eucalyptus. And we're going to mix it again for a few minutes. And then our wax is already in colored wax. I don't feel like that. 155, okay, 156. Now we were going to incorporate the fragrance because we should incorporate the fragrance between 150 and 165. We are now at 156. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Lalagyan mo na ng wick. Ay, dalawang wick. Okay, so this is, so we're going to incorporate the fragrance, again, low and slow. We don't want bubbles. Again, mix it. Don't forget to mix. A lot of people forget that part. Remember, soy is very difficult to fragrance, so, well, not very difficult, but more difficult than others. So you have to help it along by making sure that it's properly distributed through gentle mixing for around 2 minutes. Okay, and we're about ready to pour this. So we're going to pour it in our, this is our clear glass. We're going to pour it. Just have to make sure na ka-paste na kapore yung wheat mo. We're going to pour it here, gently and slowly. Don't worry about the wicks. We're going to put the wick holder later. Now, I keep extra because later, if you find that there's frosting in your candle and you cannot avoid frosting, it's very difficult to avoid frosting because it's colored. Frost comes out in colors. I kept a little bit of extra so that I can pour it on top again. I can melt this later on. After 1 day, if there's frosting, I'll melt this and pour it again on top to disguise the frosting. So that's another tip to please keep in mind. There you go. So we'll keep that here. For the next one, what's the temperature there? Huh? 173. Okay, the next one we want to make color pink. So here so you can see, we're going to shade directly. Pink is horrible to use. You have to use so much of it before the color even comes out. So I'm actually shading directly on the wax. The wax is at 173. Remember I said the warmer the wax, the better. We're gonna mix. As you can see, we have shaded in quite a lot, but practically no color. Red and pink requires a lot of patience. And then you have to help it along by adding a little bit of blue to make the color come out. See, we have put so much color. Are you seeing anything? No.
No.
The pink is really hard. Pink is temperamental, so you have to be patient with it. And you have to put a lot. So again, we'll put some more. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, are you seeing anything? No, no, right? So pink is really, I'm just showing you pink because it's the most difficult of colors to use. So you can see that it really takes long. Pink needs help. Pink needs a little blue to make it come out. Or even a little bit of violet, so let's help it. I'm not wearing gloves anymore, they wash off the minute. And then have some more pink. Where's our pink? Now we're running out of pink. Now, if you find that it's not melting as quickly anymore, you can quickly pop it back into the heat. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the entire thing there so it melts faster. It's also like having a facial sauna. Can you mix this one, Cora? I'll just ask Cora to mix this. I'm going to get my other dye. I think I left it in the other room.
Hello, Cora. Smile ka sa camera.
Okay. So, since that's not working, we're gonna add pink liquid dye. Make sure, again, this is dye, not pigment. Remember I told you a while ago, don't use pigments, use dye. So this is liquid dye, not liquid pigment.
That seems easier.
Hmm? It's
Easier.
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 Yes, it is. Oops.
And we can see hints of pink already.
Yes, it's starting to turn pink now. Yes.
Yan, there.
It's easier, but me kasi I'm a purist eh. If I'm making soy, I like it all to be soy. But really, that's just me. So, this is the easier way. But make sure, please, as I said, that you buy pigment, not you buy dye, not pigment. Okay, there's a big difference. Okay, there you go. Look. Can you see the color?
Oh yeah, very nice.
Now let's see what that will look like. I'm pouring it into some water. It's still very light because it's really darker when it's in the wax, but it dries up. When it dries up, it's lighter. So I'm adding a little more pigment. I'm sorry, I'm adding a little more dye. You avoid pigment, huh? And this is good. You see the color?
Yes, it's
Now, do you remember what temperature we have to put the fragrance in? What's the temperature for incorporating fragrance? We incorporate it at 150 to 165. So
there you
I'm
go.
going to use lavender for this one. And I think I'll just use wait, I used pala lavender kanina, no? Let's use something else now. Let's use this is a fragrance I have not tried at all. It's already pre-mixed. It's called Angel's Breath. So I'm going to try to use it. So I'm going to need around 19 grams of this. Let's see if it's any good. Okay. We'll measure this now and see. So you look if you're happy with the color. This is going to be a very pale pink when it dries. And remember that the color here, when it dries up, it will be half the intensity. So if this is looking like a bit fuchsia now, this will dry up into a baby pink. And as I said, you can try it by putting it in a bowl of water, pour some, and see if the color is the color you like. It's a very pretty baby pink. So believe it or not, this very vivid color will turn into baby pink when it dries up. So now that is at 100, let's say the temperature. We can turn this off now. I don't think we'll have time to do wax melts, but I will talk you through the procedure of putting two different colors together, okay? So it's now at 165, so it's still too warm. We have to cool this and we're going to, oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. The first time I've used this fragrance, it's called Angel's Breath. Now, when you're buying fragrance, please make sure that you buy the correct fragrances. People say, can you use fragrance for essential oils? If it says water soluble or water based, that's definitely not for candles because wax and water, they don't mix very well. In fact, water is a big enemy of wax when you're making candles. You don't like water in your candles at all. You have to check if it is fragrance essential made specifically for candles. If it says it's made for soap and it's oil-based, most probably you can use it for candles. But it's safer to check if it is made specifically for candles. Fragrances made for candles are oil-based. And good fragrances, the really high-quality ones, will have a 185-degree flash point. Usually the high-quality ones will immediately post their flash point 185 because that's a badge of high quality. It means my perfume is so high quality, the flash point is very high. All right. So instead, if you don't have any flash point, remember incorporate between 150 to 165. So I'm now going to check the temperature of this. And we will pour once it is at 135. It smells so good. I'm liking this. This is the first time I use this fragrance.
Can you describe the smell? Like, is it fruity or floral?
It's floral powdery. It's like you're putting on a Spanish perfume.
Ah, wow.
Like the mga nenuco.
Ah, yeah, wow.
That's what it smells like. So
Okay.
it's a very light floral, but the overall is powdery, which I like because powdery scents are very fresh, very babyish.
Yeah.
So just a little more, 5 seconds, and this is good. Now what I will do now is I'm going to change the 2 wicks. I already showed you the other one which uses 2 wicks. This one we're going to use a wooden wick. Because I really like wooden wicks. Except where are my wicks? Saan ang mga wick ko? Now, wooden wicks. Let me show you. Now, I can pass them. There are 3 sizes of wooden wicks. Let me show you. You have the medium. I never buy the small wooden wick. The small wooden wick is too narrow. It means that you'll probably need a diameter of around 2 inches. So it's a very narrow melt tool. This is the small width. Can you see? Small width, and this is the medium. This is the large. This is the
Yeah.
small, the large, just so you see the difference. I always like using large, especially if I'm using anything above 2.5. If my jar is more than 2.5 inches in diameter. Okay, I use a big one. Now, if you feel that it's getting bigger and you're using a 3.5 jar, it's alanganin. This big one is good for 3, but you're using a 3.5 jar. Now, why can you put your volume down? No volume. Okay. You can add a booster. They also sell boosters. This is what you call a booster. See, it's really thin. What you do is you put the booster and the wick together. See, you put them together. And then you put them in the suspender together. That means that you widen the pool because you added a booster. So that's what we're going to do now. I just wanted to show you how to do it. We're now going to add it into a sustainer. So you can see there are 2 here. You have the booster and you have the large wick. I put them together. And I actually insert them in the sustainer together. So we put the big one first, then we add the small one. It's a bit of a squeeze, so you have to push hard. There. And again, can I have the sticker, please? I'll just put that here. It's perfect. Sticker, not the big one, yung malaki. Let's get another sustainer. That's not a good sustainer. I'm going to actually put the wick here. Now, what you need to do is, if you're putting 2 together, is you actually put a rubber band. Let me show you. I want you to know this technique so you can do it on your own. So we're putting 2 together, but it's going to separate like that. So what you actually need to do is either get a paper clip or a rubber band. I'm going to be getting here a paper clip. And I'm going to use it to put them together so that there's no space in between. You see? So that's 2. I have it's falling off, excuse me. So I have a booster and I have a wick together, and then I use a paper clip so that it doesn't move around. And then I'm going to stick this into the bottle. There. Can I have 2 chopsticks, please? And I'm going to use chopsticks here with a rubber band. See this chopsticks, we have rubber band in the end. See that? That's what I'm going to use to make it stand still. So it doesn't move around instead of a wire wick, instead of a wick holder. So isa pang rubber band. So now a little brown. Here, can you get a rubber band, please, Cora? So I'm showing you how to make your own wick holder. You just put a rubber band on both ends. And you don't need to buy a wick holder anymore. See, just make rubber band, rubber band, rubber band, rubber band until it's tight. You have the wick there, so you can see it's not moving anymore. Then you insert it into your holder and you're good. Okay, now this is already at 135, I think. So at 155, perfect. So we're now going to add our fragrance. We mix. And we start pouring this in a short while. Now, some candle making mistakes. Wait, first, I'm going to teach you how to make 2 layers because we won't have time to do the wax melts now. How to make 2 layers. So you pour the first layer of color, you pour it halfway, and then leave it there to dry. It will be dry in around 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on the size of the containers, at most 6 hours. And then you can pour the second color. After you pour the second color, you just have to wait for another 7 to 10 days, or at most 14 days, because you have to cure your candle. And then you will see that you have a beautiful double layered candle. Now, if you want monochromatic candles, what you can do is you have 3 or 4 layers. You put the darkest layer down, stop, and then put less pigment as you progressively go through the layers on top. So there's so many things you can do. You can have 3 layers, you can have 4 layers, you can have 5 layers. But for me, my favorite way of coloring is through marbling or batik effect. But there's no time to do that now. Maybe next time I can show you. So while waiting for this to cool, maybe Gladys, we can do a Q&A while we're waiting for this. We're waiting for this to reach 135 before I pour it.
Sure.
That you have.
Okay, so let me check the chat box. So the last question that we had was about the length of the wicks.
Okay.
And then it's like chemistry class and all that. So
Number 3 temperatures, yeah. Go ahead, Gladys.
okay. Yeah, I got some phone-in questions like they personally sent me. So will you send like a quick guide of the things that you did? Like, in terms of the measurements and then the methodology and stuff. So you'll send that later, right?
I could, but really, most important lang, what I really want you to remember is 3 things. Wax, you heat it no higher than the flash point. For soy, it's 185. And then fragrance, you incorporate it at the flash point of the fragrance. If it's not indicated for soy, you pour it between 150 to 165. And then you cool it, and then you pour it into the container at 135. It's the same for any kind of wax. The only thing that will change will be the temperatures that you use. I think we have reverb now, so. The only thing that will change will be the temperatures that we use for the different kinds of wax. And then for coloring and dyes, the most important thing is you incorporate it hot. You can actually put the dye in while you're mixing the wax and waiting for it to melt. Otherwise, as soon as you take out the wax, you can put the dye before the perfume because the dye needs to be hot, really hot for it to melt. And then you add the perfume later on. Okay, but I can do the guide if you like. You want me to put the notes on the temperatures? I can do that. I can post
Yeah.
it.
Perfect. Dedet raised their hand. So Dedet, you have a question?
Dedet, hello.
Good. Hello, Anna. This was a
Hello.
great
Hello.
presentation, huh? Great presentation.
Thank you.
I learned so much from this, and I think I'm inspired to try it out.
Please do.
I realized there's so much accuracy and patience in doing it. chances are I probably will make tons of mistakes before I get, let's say, for example, a smooth surface. Yeah, like a bubble will be there, or it's an uneven surface. In
Yes,
that
so
case,
what
like
to
that,
do?
that batch is thrown out the window, or are there?
No, absolutely
fixed?
not. No. I
Hmm.
get bubbling. Everybody
Hmm.
gets bubbling. Even
Hmm.
the candle makers make bubbling. Wait, let me pour this lamp because we're at 135,
Hmm.
and then I'll tell you what to do.
Thank you.
Do not throw out. No, absolutely not.
Mhm.
Sayang.
So how do you fix it? You scrape it
Very
out?
easily.
or
I'm going to
something?
show you now.
Hmm. Someone told me she uses a blow dryer. What do you think of that?
Yes, but instead of a blow dryer, I would say a heat gun. Okay, this actually has a hole. Noel, can we? What happened to this? I don't know what happened to this candle. Okay, this candle melted all over now. If you look at it, it has a hole. Can you
yeah.
spotlight Emmanuel Singson, please?
Okay,
Gladys.
sure. Hang on.
So this candle has a hole over there, a big hole. I deliberately carved a hole into it.
Pin spotlight. Yeah, it's spotlight already.
Okay, so you saw that big hole?
Yes.
And this is what your friend said, use a blow dryer. I use a heat gun because if your blow dryer gets really hot, some blow dryers go until 240, that will do the trick. So what you do is you just do this so that you heat the entire surface. Can you see?
A little bit.
Okay, so I'm heating the entire surface. No condition.
There. We can see it. We can see it's melted.
So the whole surface is melting. You see?
Ayun, there you go.
You see if you can
Yeah,
making the
yeah.
waves. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that means you're creating a totally new surface. All right, but you have to be careful. Make sure that it's level and make sure you don't have any air bubbles because you might create bubbles. So what to do is, this I learned from cooking. See, it's multidisciplinary skills. You do this, tap, gently, hand, not too strong. Everything should be gentle. Tap, all around. Take away any bubbles, and then you just let it dry the way you make any normal candle dry. And that's what you did. You created a new surface. Now, if you don't have a heat gun, what you can do is, remember a while ago, I left some extra wax for the blue one. I did that because frosting comes out a lot in colored candles. Okay, so if frosting comes out, and frosting is perfectly normal because frosting is also a reaction to temperature. For example, I cured my candles in a room where there's aircon sometimes, and sometimes there's not. So it was hot and cold. That will create frosting. So when you're curing, I suggest you cure in a regular temperature room where it's consistent temperature. If the fragrance seeps out, it will create frosting. It's very normal. You can't avoid it. Even the best candle manufacturers will tell you sometimes frosting happens. But if it does, you can do what I did. You can blow dry, or you can melt this again, the extra wax. I had leftover wax of the blue. I will melt it again, and I am going to pour it again on top of the surface. So I am creating a new surface. So those are some tricks that you can do to make sure that your candle looks pretty. In fact, sometimes, even without colorant, my candles come out bumpy. So what I do is I just use my heat gun, and then I tap so there are no bubbles, and it ends up with a beautiful surface. Now, if it's still rocky again, just heat it again until you get a beautiful surface. And it's really, really easy fix.
Thank you.
Does that help you, Dad?
Thank you. Great. Thank you.
We have another, Tony has a question. So Tony.
Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
Tony.
hi, Anna. Wow, that was a very thorough demonstration. And I think one
Thank
of the
you.
main ingredients is patience.
Patience,
So,
Tony. Talaga.
yeah, I know. But I just wanted to clarify lang, no? Kasi I'm not too sure if you already mentioned it. When you speak of the temperatures, are you talking about centigrade or Fahrenheit?
I'm talking about Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Sorry, Fahrenheit.
And then, sorry, I don't know if it was only me. I couldn't really see on my screen your demonstration of the one with the hole, just now. Or was it just in my screen?
I can show you again. I'm sorry. I was talking about centigrade. Sorry, Hannah, Fahrenheit. Centigrade.
Okay.
Centigrade is what we use here. Now,
All right.
if something
Thank
as
you.
a whole, let me show
Yes.
you. Okay, go
We're
ahead.
not. It seems like it's. I don't know if it's just in my screen or everybody else is seeing it. And because what's flashed on my screen is actually your photo, not the actual demo.
Okay, shall we do it again? Okay, this is another one. I made sure there were. Can you spotlight again EP Singson, Gladys?
Or hang on. Emmanuel's iPhone.
Is he highlighted? Because it's
Yeah.
this camera that we're using.
Yep. There.
Okay, there. Okay, here.
There.
It's good
Thank
that
you.
I
Thank
created
you.
a lot of. I made sure there were holes in. I prepared for this. Now, can you see? Can you please, Honey? Can you come here? Okay, can you see this as craters and holes?
Yes, we see.
It's horrible, right? You wouldn't give
Yeah.
that away. You wouldn't sell it. Okay, what do? I actually do the heat gun. Maybe you can put it higher well so we can see. There. So I'm heating it until it all melts.
Or pour boiling water.
Okay, there. Can you see now? It has some. It's all melted on top.
Yeah.
See? Okay, so I just do this. Did you see that, Tony?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Thanks,
And then
Anna.
again, tap, tap, tap. Why are we doing this? To take away the bubbles. Because you may have fixed the top, but you might have created new bubbles because, you know, you created a lot. You had a lot of air up there. So tap, tap, tap. And that's it. Another solution, as I had said, is you melt more candle, melt more wax, make sure it has the same fragrance, and then top it off again. That's another way to fix it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Okay, I have another question
Yes,
regarding
go ahead.
the budget for
Budget.
Yeah.
Okay. The most budget for making one candle.
Yes.
That is
Budget
okay.
for making one candle and budget for the entire kit that you have right now.
The entire kit. You know, for the double boiler, which is really what you need, do not spend. Get anything in your kitchen. This is from my kitchen, okay? I did not buy any specific candle making double boiler. And then as for this is my liquid measuring cup. You can use this, okay? I'm sure you have a liquid measuring cup. If it's glass, use it. If not, use any pitcher. But I like using metal pitchers because when you hold it here, it has a stay cool handle. You can buy this in Shopee or in Lazada. This size is around 300. And if you get a big size, and you don't need a big size unless you're planning to make many candles. Now, I make many candles, so I have a big size. I think this one is around 600 or 700. But this one, which is good for around a 350 gram candle, for one good 350 gram candle, this is around 300 pesos. Now, you absolutely cannot do without a weighing scale. That you cannot do because you might get all your proportions wrong. This weighing scale, it's lovely because it's USB. You don't need to buy battery. This is only 350. It's also in Shopee. I sent you the link for it. Okay? And you cannot live without a thermometer. If you have a candy thermometer, use that. Or chocolate thermometer, use that. Now, if you don't have one, then you buy one from Lazada or from Shopee, and I also gave you the links. This one works perfectly well, and this is only 140 pesos. So it's not difficult at all. Now, wax. Wax, let me show you. This is 1 kilo of wax. Please make sure you buy wax that says pure soy wax, not a soy blend, not a para soy blend, not something that says soy blend, pure soy wax. This is not expensive. That's why I say soy is a pretty good wax. This is around 260 to 270 pesos per kilo. So it doesn't cost much. Your most expensive components will be your containers. Now let me take you quickly through containers. This container, which has a lid, which has a metal lid, and it's very pretty when you give it away. The whole set can range between 55 to 70 pesos for one bottle and the lid. Okay? Now this one, this ceramic one, where's my ceramic? The candles are there. The ceramic container, this one, it has a bamboo top. You can close it. The container itself is 55, and if you buy the bamboo topper, this is around 30. So you could spend 85 on packaging for this one. Now, if you want to use a can, I love cans. They're pretty, especially if they're glamorous cans like this one. No? It's not your cheapy looking can, because when it covers, it's really straight. It's called a glam can. Here, can you see this?
Yes.
This can only costs between 40 to 55. Now, if you use a jar like this one that we used, a clear jar, this is actually a food jar. I use this jar because I also make sticky toffee puddings. I think that Dad would have tried them. Okay. And Carmela, I think in website, yeah, Carmela would have tried my sticky toffee puddings. These are the same jars I use. They're food jars. You can buy them, but they have a minimum purchase quantity. You have to buy an entire corrugated case. Now, I have boards of that here. So if you want to buy and you want to buy an entire case, you just tell me, I can ship it off to you. It costs around 30 pesos for the jar and lid already of this one. Okay, so as I said, container and fragrance are the most expensive parts. Now, fragrance, these jars here can range, this is a 50 ml jar. No, I'm sorry, this is a 100 ml jar. Can you see? This says coffee. A 100 ml jar can range between 400 to 900 pesos, depending on the fragrance that you choose. Now, I am very partial to Candle Science fragrances. They're imported, but you can find them in Lazada. They're a little more expensive, but my goodness, the hot throw and the cold throw are fantastic. So I love Candle Science fragrances. They're a little more expensive, as I said, but I think super worth it, especially if you're going to give them as a gift or if you're going to use them in your house. Now, if you're going to use it for commercial purposes, Candle Science can be very expensive. So feel free to use any of the other suppliers that I posted, that I gave to Sin and which Sin posted in the website. Now, cost of a candle. Like a candle like this could cost with a cover, and if you put it in a box, so with nice packaging, if you put a sticker, the entire candle with packaging could cost anywhere between, depending on your fragrance, it could cost anywhere between 190 to 300 pesos to make one candle like this, depending on your fragrance. If you use Candle Science, you could definitely reach 300 in terms per candle. But if you don't use Candle Science, it can go to as low as 190, which is why I get so irritated, because when you buy candles, I know the costs, no? Like a candle like this, which we made for probably 250 pesos, gets sold for like 1,200 or 1,000 pesos.
Yes.
I think that's overkill. I think that's
True.
too much. I mean, make a profit, of course, because as you can see, it requires patience. But I think that's usually already when they make it 4 times the cost. So now you can make your own candles and you don't have to worry about that. Did that answer your question, Gladys? I said
Yes. Perfect.
yes. Any other questions you might have?
While others are thinking of their questions, maybe we can have our class picture, baka, so
Yes,
that at
yes,
least,
yes.
yeah. So I will remove muna your spotlight, and then I will make gallery view. I'd like to request everyone to switch on their cameras so that
I'm
we'll
gonna
have
go on
our class picture, and then I will send you the poster together with the class picture. I will count to 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, and then another angle. Si Chrissy Daya, or walang ano. Okay, 1, 2. All right. Thank you.
Now, if you have any problems with your candles, for example, do not get discouraged if it doesn't light the first time. If it doesn't light, trim your wick. Trim your wick to around 1 to 1/4 inch. Usually, that's going to solve the problem, because I get many calls. People, they make the candle for the first time. They say it doesn't light. Just trim your wick to 1/4 inch and it will light. And when you're buying candles outside also, sometimes it won't light. Just do that. Trim it to 1/4 inch. Now, if you don't have a trimmer, can I show you what a real trimmer looks like?
Okay.
Uh-huh. Where is my trimmer? This funny thing is actually a wick trimmer. See? So even if you're going low in the container, you can trim it this way. But if you don't have like this, just use a nail cutter. It will work just as well. In fact, once when I couldn't find any of my wick trimmers, I just used a nail cutter and nobody knows any better. Just
Not
use your nail.
scissors, nail cutter.
No,
talaga.
not
Okay.
scissors, not scissors.
Why not scissors?
Because scissors, hard. When you cut with a scissor, especially if it's below the rim already, it will cut it at an angle. So you'll have a diagonal wick. See? Whereas this, it's flat. That's why it will be flat. And if you use a nail cutter from above, it will also be straight. Now, if you're most of the time, because if you're cutting it 1/4 of an inch, you're going to be below the rim of the glass of your container. So it's very hard to use a scissor and keep the wick straight. So use na lang a nail cutter. But if you can manage to keep the wick straight while using a scissor, that's perfect. Pero nail cutter talaga will be easier than a scissor if you're
Okay.
trimming to 1/4 inch.
Okay. Tess has a question.
Yes, Tess.
Hi, Anna. This is
Hello,
so
Tess.
interesting and so inspiring. I
Easy
love
to
it.
make, ha?
Oh,
It's
let's
super
go
easy.
until the gel, huh? I'll attend all. Okay, question. You
Yes.
said layering, diba? So in
Yes.
the layering, what do you do such that the second and the succeeding layers on top do not seep in to the lower layers?
Oh, well, the best thing there, Tess, is again patience, because candle making, as I said, is all about patience. You have to make absolutely sure that the layer below is already completely is already dry. So to be safe,
Okay.
like once I was really in a hurry, I was layering pa naman gel candles, and you know gel candles are so sensitive. Oh wait, I think one of them is here. Yeah, here.
Do you also
Okay.
make the tak-tak move first
Huh?
that you did earlier? Do you
Yeah.
also like make the tak-tak move?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
it feels the rims, the sides, no? It will not
Yeah.
seep in.
Yes.
All right, got
Now
it.
take a look at this. This is what you see. It's not all purple. It's pink and purple. Can you see?
Yep, yep.
But they sort of seeped into each other, right?
Oh yeah.
That's because I was
It
in a hurry.
blended.
It bled into each other precisely because I didn't make it set first.
Okay.
What happened but there? Yes, I was watching Bridgerton. I wanted to go back to Bridgerton. I didn't want to wait anymore. So I thought it was already set after like 2 hours because it's such a tiny little thing. As it turned out, it was not. So this was the mistake. But it looks nice rin naman. Parang kunwari
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah. So the 6 hours recommendation is the best.
Yeah, especially if you're using a big container. Test it, then
Alright.
just shake it. And if just do this a little bit, if it's set, then it doesn't move anywhere, you're good.
All right. Thank
But
you.
don't
got
shake it before 6 hours, please, ha?
Okay, will do. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, and if you're using a container with more than 3 inches, please wait at least a day. If it's mga 3 inches, kaya 6 hours. But if it's more than 3 inches in diameter, wait a day before you start pouring. I know
And
it's
wait for
super-
the quarantine period of 7 to 14 days before you light it, right?
Before you light. Don't forget, quarantine your candle.
Yeah,
That's
don't
good. Yeah,
forget.
quarantine your candle because
Yeah.
there's a big difference. Like my son, who children are teenagers, he was so excited to use his cafe vanilla. After 5 days, he lit it. I said, not yet ready. It's still raw. It's not ready. The throw was very different. The hot throw was very different. It still smelled good, but then I showed him one that we cured for 14 days, and you could really see the difference. You can fill the room and the next room with the fragrance.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, Anna.
You're welcome.
We have
Any
a
other
comment from
one?
Trisha. So she
Yes.
said, "Thank you, Anna. I love this session. You're such a great teacher. Can't wait to make my own candles." I'm saying thank you now because I'm mobile now and I see my battery is about to die. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. And if you have you all know me, you all know my cell phone number. We all are in the Viber thread. If you have question, just ask me. And then, even if you want to make your own stickers, this is what I like. I like customizing. In fact, I have an order. Somebody asked me to customize a scent for her home. It was so cute. I had to interview her. What do you like? What scents? And we came up with something called l'orangerie. We put together orange, bergamot, bamboo, green grass, a lot of herbs. And she asked me to make a lot, but she also wanted her stickers customized. So just for her. So we designed the sticker for her. I had it printed. So if you want to customize, I can help you with that too, because it's very hard to find printers who are going to print a small quantity like 30 pieces or 50 pieces. But I have a digital press that does that for me. So if you want to have a sticker made and your quantities maliit lang, send it off to me and I'll have it done for you. Because it's so nice when you have stickers. Look at this. Look at this candle. No sticker. With sticker. Diba? Has more character.
yeah.
Sticker.
Yeah.
And
Very
here.
nice.
I love this. This is my marbling. I'm loving marbling. So I'm sorry I keep showing my marbling. I love marbling. I have so much fun marbling. It's fun. Anyway, any other questions?
Are you selling, Ana?
Yeah,
As a
I do.
You
Yeah, I
do.
do. People order from me. And as I said, I think they like me because I can customize for them. Not making yabang, ha? But I like customizing. Even the sticker, I can customize for them. And then we make whatever color they tell me they want. And the scent can be customized. But yes, I do. In fact, I have an order now it's so funny. The husband likes lavender and the wife likes orange. For the husband, I was offering him Starbucks. I go, why don't I make you like coffee, or I can make you a caramel macchiato, or, I can make you a vanilla carnival, because guy, he goes, no, I'm a lavender guy. I go, oh my gosh, okay. So
Wow.
the guy ordered around 12 lavender candles, and the wife said, no, I like musk. I like heavy perfumes. I like musk and orange. I go, okay, we can make the two.
Oh,
People have different
interesting.
ideas of what they
Yeah.
like.
You can also please post that.
Huh?
Your flavors and your prices. It might help inspire. Like for me, it's so inspiring. So
No,
before
please
making
make
it,
that.
get it.
Because it's super fun. Like this first one, it can actually go much faster. Like we took 1.5 hours and we were able to make 4, 5, 6 candles. No, I can actually do as many as like 24 candles in like 30 minutes. Yeah. It's only because I was lecturing here. In fact,
Yes,
we
yes.
were keeping the boiling longer than normal, so I could give you all the theory. But when you do it on your own, it's so much simpler, but you have to make sure that you follow the temperature so that you keep safe also. We don't like you burning,
Yep,
and
yep.
we don't like you making a bigger flame than you wanted to. Diba? That's why I really get mad when you watch YouTube and they say pop it in the
Microwave.
microwave, or when they say, just put the fragrance any temperature. No, you're just wasting your ingredients if you use them in the wrong way. And
That's
easy
why
lang
I
naman.
love your tips and tricks talaga, practical.
Yeah, practical, because I've made all those mistakes. I've made all those mistakes talaga, and I just cover them up the way I showed you. And of course, the
Interesting.
tap.
Yeah.
Right.
An interesting fact, no, someone shared to me, one of the audiences, kaso she wanted to stay anonymous, that in France pala, lavender is a man scent, wherein her French grandfather uses lavender. That's
Oh,
why.
there you go.
That's
There
why.
you go.
Yeah.
So my friend's husband, I will tell him, you have a very French you have a very French olfactory inclination.
True.
French. But I love lavender. It's my favorite. Kasi some of you know here, I have horrible insomnia. I cannot sleep. That's also why I make wax melt, so that I can keep my room fragranced with lavender or orange or whatever without a flame, so that I can sleep at night. They really help you sleep. So, and that's also why my line now is called nod. It's called wink, blink, nod, because hopefully in a wink and a blink, you'll be able to nod off to sleep. It's very hard for me to sleep. So that's my wish. My wish is in the name of my candle, wink, blink, nod, so that I can sleep. Diba?
Galing.
Yeah.
All
So,
right. Any more questions?
Any more questions? If you have any more, you can always post them. I'm a Viber away, or if you just call me, I'm a call away. You're very welcome, Tony. I saw your message. Okay? So please promise me you're going to make a candle. Try to make a candle and
Ala.
please post the picture. Ala.
Hindi, madali lang talaga. Then if you know what, if you don't feel like going to Shopee and you just want me to ship it off to you, just tell me. I'll give it to you at cost and I'll ship it off to you. But I just want you to try to make a candle, because it's actually therapeutic. My son makes it and he has so much fun. And he's 21 years old, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it too. Now later on, if we have a session 2, let me know if you want to have a session 2. I'm going to teach you how to marble and how to make gel candles and how to make wax melts and multi-layered colors if you like. Okay? So you discuss that with Sin and with Gladys if you want to do a session 2. Otherwise, our next session is crochet.
Yes, please.
May date na ba our crochet? Yes, please, session 2. So you want a session 2? Yay! I want to teach you marbling. Marbling is so much fun.
Let's get to the gel.
Huh? No, the gel
Let's get to
is
the gel
last.
part.
Yeah, and please for gel, do me a favor. Do not believe anything on the internet, okay? Because you might explode, okay? Gel is volatile. Gel is, really volatile. But if you know how to do it properly, it's easy. Like even Cora, you saw Cora, my assistant a while ago. She can make gel on her own. She makes gel candles on her own. Diba?
Okay, so if you have no more questions, maybe I'd like to take the opportunity to share the upcoming session. So as what Anna said, so the upcoming crafts club session will be Crochet 101,
Crochet 101.
which is next Saturday,
Yes.
with Rhea Gomez from batch 95. Also on the same date, we'll have
In the
afternoon, we'll have the Bake with Chef Latia Moreau, Executive Pastry Chef of Ecole Ducas Manila at Enderon College.
Is Tris Tansuan still here? Is she still here? She was the one who made
she left na.
everything.
She left na.
Yeah, Trisha Tansuan was actually the one who made the Enderon partnership possible. And I just found out yesterday, in fact, they're sending a video. Guess what we're going to be learning how to make when we go there? We're
What?
going to learn how to make modern Black Forest cake. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I know Black Forest, but what is a modern Black Forest cake? Now remember,
God.
she's a multi-awarded international chef. So when she says it's good, and she said for sure it's super yummy, please
So
try to go.
exciting. So
That's
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah.
And you can actually go there, huh? I'm going there. I think some of us are going there.
Yeah.
Or you can zoom in. You can also zoom in. Plus, they are raffling out prizes. So they
There,
just told
Jill's
me,
still here, Anna.
huh?
Ay, sorry. Ay, no, not pala, Tensuan, right?
Yeah, they're
She
raffling
left na
out
pala.
prizes. They have prizes for those who attend live and also separate prizes for those who attend via Zoom.
Wow.
So make sure that you attend. I wonder what the prizes are. So exciting. Baka lessons. Yay, exciting. Yeah.
So it will be held here in the Run Ecole Ducas Amphitheater. And then on May 4, so we will have dates for the Bible Study Club.
This is Gladys's club. She's the moderator of the Bible Study Club.
Yes. So it will be really insightful. It will be held this coming May. And then we will have the Organized to Spark Joy with Christine De Chow. It will be on May 14 at 3 p.m. And of course, we don't have any joining fees, but love offerings are very much appreciated. So here's the GCash. And we will also send the QR code later on in our Viber group. So there you have it. That's it for clubbing this morning. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Very good. Very good session. Salamat.
Happy Saturday. Then
Happy
let me know if
Saturday
you want
and
the
happy
session
lunch.
2. Okay.
Happy
Bye-bye.
weekend,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye. Gladys, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Gladys.
Anna.
For co-hosting. Bye.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Thank you. Grace, bye. Grace, see you.